with Manchester City being held by Tottenham in that scintillating game at the Etihad Stadium. As far as Sunday was concerned, well, Sheffield United picked up their first win against Crystal Palace, John Lundstrom scoring the winner, with the Blades now having taken 4 points from their first 2 games. And Chelsea, well, still looking for their first win under Frank Lampard after that draw at the Bridge today. With Wolves...
Because you saw it there. We saw he was standing in an area where you'd much rather someone pick him up, because when you have, like Michael said, when you've got to run on people and you've got a running jump and you've got to go from a standing jump, it's very difficult, if the ball is good, to stop somebody. And the ball was fantastic from Maddison. Over the 90 minutes, Leicester had 12 shots on the Chelsea goal. 11 of them came in the second half. What a turnaround from them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. I do think that midweek left its mark on Chelsea. Playing 120 minutes is a lot at this stage of the season. And I thought Leicester looked very, very fit. Added to that, it's their natural game. If you have an open game with Leicester, I think that, you know, you're playing with fire, playing into their hands. And I thought that at the end of the game, if it continued, I would have been betting on Leicester to nick it.
Should James Maddison have won it?
Yes, I didn't think he done particularly well. Thought he lost the ball too many times. I thought in that area, Chelsea gave away the ball in areas where Leicester can really take advantage. And like you say, we saw it there, and you can see by the amount of chance they had on goal, I think they were fortunate in the end.
How do you explain the turnaround and the shift in momentum after 45 minutes? Were Chelsea tiring after the efforts they put in the first 45?
Well, it certainly looked that way, and as soon as you start letting the game stretch a little bit, then it gets even more tiring. You've got to stop running that way, and eventually you get, as a midfielder, you probably get, I don't know which way to go. But as soon as it got stretched, you're playing, as I say, into Leicester's hands, because they have got legs, they have got, you know, a lot of young players that were fresh, they didn't have a midweek game, and they've got pace. So all those things considered, I thought the longer it went, the more Chelsea were playing a dangerous game.
I was very surprised to see Giroud getting taken off as early as he did. Was it 61 minutes?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I thought maybe if they get 70 minutes, maybe 75, then bring Tammy on to really run them and stretch them a little bit more, because I thought that the ball didn't stay in the area where they could cause Leicester enough problems. Stick with him, and he linking up with Willian, who I said didn't play particularly well. And so I thought that the ball was coming back too quickly on them. And in the end, Leicester, I think they're going to the dressing room. They'll be a bit disappointed with the chances that they made.
Let's get more from Andy Townsend, who's pitchside, of course, at Stamford Bridge. Andy, talk about the proverbial game of two halves.
Yeah, it certainly was. The guys are absolutely right, Manish. First half, Chelsea started so well, deserved their lead, should really have perhaps got a second, which would have given them a little bit more comfort and a bit of a cushion. Didn't do that. Leicester gradually come onto a game in the second half, and wow, in the end, they really, as Wrighty just said, they should have got all three. I mean, it was an incredible chance that Maddison missed. But I think that Chelsea kept conceding possession. The ball kept getting turned over, and Leicester were breaking onto them very, very quickly. And the worrying thing for me, for Chelsea, over the 3 games that I've seen them, when there's been a lot of positives, is that when they go out of possession, when they lose the ball, they look vulnerable. They look like they could concede goals out of nothing from set plays, as they did today. And that's something that's going to need time. That's something that's going to need a strong voice, a leader. And if you haven't got that out on the pitch, then Frank's got to find that. Even though he's a young coach at this level, that's something that he's got to develop pretty quickly. A definite voice. One, not 3 or 4, not Jody Morris, not 4 or 5, 3 or 4 other members of staff. His voice has to be the voice to make sure that he can convince the players that by continuing to play this way, they will win more games than they will lose.
Andy, you were sat behind the Chelsea bench. You had a good view of Frank Lampard and his body language. At full time, was he satisfied or relieved?
Frustrated. I thought he cut a bit of a frustrated figure second half. Frustrated at the fact that his team kept conceding possession. But in the main, again, there were lots of positives to take, but I think he'll be a little bit disappointed with the way that his team finished. Maybe, as Michael said, very good point, that they played a lot of football midweek, extra time and a lot of travelling, and it looked like maybe they didn't quite have it in their legs towards the end of that game today.
Andy, from a midfielder's point of view, you know when the game gets stretched like that, just picture yourself in the Chelsea midfield. How do you it's almost impossible to get up with the centre forwards and then back to support your defence. When it gets stretched like that, plays into Leicester's hands. How can you stop that as a midfield player? You're almost playing tennis, aren't you?
It's difficult. I actually think, Michael, and it's difficult when you're at home. I think you've got to bring your forward guys back. They have to come back a little bit towards you, and so as you can just stay a little bit more compact. Defenders don't want to squeeze and hit the halfway line if they can't see good possession being retained in front of them. So I think in that case, maybe just to get people coming back to them a little bit, just to stay a little bit more compact.
OK, Andy, we'll have to break from this for now, only because we can get some post-match reaction from the new Chelsea boss. After that, here's Frank Lampard.
Frank, just a point. What did you make of it and the way the game unfolded?
Really good start. Fantastic start. You know, it could be two or three goals up and quick, bright energy in the team. After that, we allowed Leicester to get back into the game. Struggled to keep the ball ourselves as well as we should have done, as well as we had been doing. And then second half, I wasn't very happy. We offered them too many chances to counter-attack. We didn't have enough calmness on the ball to keep the ball and move it and switch the play. And by doing that, we allowed them right back into the game.
Why do you think that happened? What was behind it?
We can only look at ourselves, you know, it's early in the season, and out of the performances we've had, I've been delighted with big passages of having the ball and moving it, and I think today, once the pressure came from them and they set up to get after us, we didn't have enough angles, enough options to keep the ball and move it. As I say, we were doing it in the first half, camped in their half for the first 20-25 minutes, and then we need to be ready. When the game changes, you need to grab it back, and we allowed it to go, which we need to have a bit more personality about us, because we've got that. We saw that in midweek, but today we didn't quite have it.
The way you set up, you like your team to be attacking, so will be an element of you that is a little bit open?
No, not like we were in the second half, because that's not, you know, you can attack but still be in positions that if you turn the ball over, then you don't allow the counter-attack that we allowed today in the second half. So no, I'm not here to play incredible attacking football when everything's great and then concede counter-attacks or easy goals when it's not. Now, that's for us. We have to improve. This will be a process. We do need a little bit of time. This is our first home game in the season, but we need to show more than what we did for the bulk of that game.
Let's start with the positives. What a moment for Mason Mount.
Yeah, delighted for Mason, and that just typified how we started the game. You know, with speed, with getting after the ball. One of Mason's big strengths is not just the quality, but is how he works to win the ball back. He did it. And a really good finish, yeah. And at that point, we're flying, and Mason was driving it essentially. And delighted for him. He'll be a bit disappointed now in the end because we haven't got the 3 points we wanted. But he should be happy with that moment.
Do you go away from this with lots to think about?
Yeah, and I think you always do, and that's. I was under no illusions when I came here that there will be moments like this. We can't ask. It takes time sometimes to work to get to where we want to be, and that is thinking time. But more than it's anything, it's working time. We have to work on the pitch. We have to reflect on the game, and work on the things we can improve.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks. Cheers, Jeff.
Pretty honest assessment then from the new Chelsea boss, Frank. The Leicester City camp, shall we? Delighted to say, pitch side for us. James Maddison. James, good to talk to you. After a pretty chastening first half against Chelsea, in the end, you should have won it.
Hi guys. Yeah, should have won it. I think that's the feeling we come away with. I mean, we dominated the second half. I mean, we regrouped to half time, and listen, when you come to Stamford Bridge, you know you're going to be in for a tough game, and we had to defend for large parts of the first half early on, I would say, and then I think we controlled the game from then on once we got that first mistake out of the way. And yeah, like I said, we come away disappointed, ruining the chances that we missed.
James, what was it like to be in the middle of the park amidst Chelsea's relentless start to the game?
Listen, we knew that they were going to come out of the traps really quickly, because obviously the gaffer's first game here on his return and stuff, so we knew that. We weren't naive to that, but Wilfred just got caught on the ball, didn't he? It was good pressing from Mason Mount, and but to be honest, I think that shows the character of Wilfred Ndidi, because after that I thought he was excellent. He put that behind him. Players can dwell on things like that when you make a mistake that early in the game, but I thought he showed a great reaction and was excellent from then on.
James, Mike Loney, I was just saying what a great corner it was, great assist. At the end, then you got a chance yourself, and of course, me and Ian Wright are here in the studio. We've both missed chances ourselves, and we talk about what we should have done. Now you reflect on it, is there anything you thought you should have done better, or would you try going for power exactly as you did?
Tough crowd. Usually didn't miss many, did you? No, listen, that's like I just said in there. I scored 7 goals last season, and that's something that I want to improve on. I think to go to that next level and be seen as a top player in this league, especially, you have to be relentless in front of goal, and that's something that I want to keep improving on. And I found myself in a good position, which I felt like I did well today. Found myself in little positions, little areas where I couldn't be picked up in it, and it came to me. I managed to work a bit of room with maybe a slice of luck, but I think in that instance I've just got to stay cool. Nice to get an assist, and Wilfred, like I said, his reaction was fantastic, and to leap above Kurt Zuma, which isn't an easy task, and nodding like that was a credit to him.
That was a magnificent ball.
Yeah, it was a great ball in. Look, they're trying to make you feel better here, so at least you can come away with a positive. James, look, a lot of the people, pundits in particular, are talking about Leicester trying to break into the top 6. Is that what you're talking about as a squad?
Yeah, I'm not going to stand here and lie to you. We want to break Europe, and I think if it was, I don't know, Troy Deeney from Watford or Dominic Calvert-Lewin from Everton, I think they'd be saying the same thing, and I think I'd be stupid not to, because if you look at the quality throughout our squad, we've got the attacking prowess and the defensive structure to go and really push that top 6. It's not an easy task, because you come to places like this, and we should have won the game today and we don't. But yes, it's a tough task, but one that we'll be working towards, definitely.
Great stuff. Listen, thanks for joining us.
Great stuff, James.
You played your
No
part.
problem.
What was a terrific game today. Well done.
Cheers, fellas.
Brilliant, mate.
Played.
Leicester City's James Maddison. Time for a quick